What is going on, everybody? Another stream, another night. So, before we get into it, please hit the like, share, and subscribe. And if you can hear me nice and clear, let's say, did I do that? So, make sure you guys can hear me nice and good. So, who remembers some of the old classic shows we grew up on? Like Family Matters, Fresh Prince. The reason I picked those two tonight is, to me, they're classics. I grew up watching them, laughing my ass off. But believe it or not, I even watched those back in Greece. Not Fresh Prince, actually only Family Matters. Actually, I remember stories my grandma used to make fun of him, like when he had his wallet taped to his heart. That's a gag, and he's like, I always have my wallet heart. And like my girl, hey, that's a smart idea. I'm like, you don't get it. But Family Matters was a unique show because it brought a lot of questions we didn't know about, questions that we still ask to this day, and it still hits home. I was watching it the other day actually. I still get the clips sometimes here and there on my feeds, and it's a pretty good show. I think it holds up to this day. Now, Friends Brands. That also hit home a lot of things. In a personal manner, single father, single mother stuff. And some things you were like questioning to this day, like, oh, okay, now I see what's going on. And it makes you think day by day. Like, if the shows never came out, how were things it would be? Makes you think we would be talking about this stuff. And that's why I think it's important to bring back this in debates. Which show was better? Which one is impacted mostly? So, disclosure. We are not talking about Fresh Prince or Bel-Air, as they call it now, the new reboot. The reboot I thought was very good. I loved it. But it was a different take. But I still loved it. So, let's get in a couple of these questionnaires I have to everybody shows up. Before I do that, let me drop the link in the chats. Anybody want to join us, please, you're welcome to get up here and say hi to us. It'd be a pleasure. So, okay. Let's get into the first one. Okay, how the personal generation. Oops, wrong one. Went too far. Okay, cultural impact. How did the French Prince of Bel-Air and Family Matters each combine to the result of a African American family to a television? I don't think it's only the African American. I think in general because everybody at the time went through their own culture impacts. Like you had the dorks, you had the geeks, you had the bikers, you had the motorheads, the juice heads. I think that's where they were trying to break the everyday norm, change it up, and I think they did a really good job. And at the time, that Family Matters and Friends Prince had one thing in common. Both of them had a head of the family in law enforcement. One's a judge. Maybe not consider that as law enforcement. I personally do. And the other one was a cop. Both had to justify their actions. The next one. How do the chapter acts as Will Smith of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Steve Urkel in Family Matters themes the message of each show? Okay. So, Will Smith, this is known knowledge. He's originally from Philly. Hated Love It, that's a different story. He was the everyday cool kid shooting basketballs back in Philly. He was the most popular kid till he got himself in trouble, obviously. Now, in Family Matters, he was the scientist, the geek. He was smart, but nobody wanted to hang out with him because he was probably too smart sometimes. But not only was too smart, he was a nerd. You know, nobody want to hang out with a nerd. But that's the funny part, I think. Back then, who was a nerd or geek? Nobody want to hang out with him. Now, let's talk about 2024 now. Now, the jock, yeah, it's still around. He's just a cool kid still, but the cooler kid is a guy who's into the technology, who's tinkering things. He's dork, the geek, the smart kid. That's who is more important now these days versus back in the other ones, if that kind of makes sense to everybody. So, excuse me, it makes a huge difference when it comes to, I gotta put this, everyday culture. Because that everyday culture could change night and day. Because the geek is more popular than the jock now. Let's think about it for a minute. That's my personal opinion again. Okay, next one is, what is the difference in similarities, family dynamic in the Bank family of the Fresh Prince and Williams family? I don't think they have a lot of similarities. I think they're different in their own tastes, in their own ways. I think there have only thing I would say, I gotta pronounce this correctly. Similarities is they both try and deliver a message. I think that's what's so important to talk about this. This is a message that we all trying to cross back then. Every show had a message back then. Now it's just a show, entertainment. The messages are not there anymore. So, by that said, now Will Smith was always, the guy busting jokes, going after his uncle, but both of them, if you remember, like, he, Will used to call Uncle Phil the big guy. And the same thing, Steve did, like, the big guy. That's one thing that's mad. There were some very small similarities, but not much. Again, I'm just going to briefly over to our guest join us tonight. I'm kind of winging in because I'm not sure who's going to show up. I didn't even get any emails back. Humor and comedy. Okay. How do the comedy style of Fresh Prince and Bel-Air and the Family Matters different, and what makes each show humorous and unique? That's a unique question for every individual, different. I'll explain why. Comedy and everything is unique their own special way. You laugh differently, you joke differently, everything's differently. So when you see this stuff, it's completely different versus something me and you can laugh and joke around. So, for example, when Steve became Stefan, taking the pill or the drink, it would go transform, whatever, right? That was pretty funny we thought back then. And I think it's funny to this day. Now, well, we're always trying to do an up on his uncle and everybody, and something backfell, something didn't. And that's a big part of it. Issues now, social issues. This is a good one, actually. In what way did a Fresh Prince and Family Matters address issues, social issues, such as racist, classic, remember that, such as racist, class, identified, and how the issues were different in their own ways. Keyword, different in way. So here, let me bring this up 1 second, because the shows, they are a little bit different in their own way. Okay, so the show of Family Matters starts running from 1989 all the way to there it is 97. All right, that's one. Now the French Prince. Doo-doo. Uh, Come on, damn computer. Started. There was from 90 to where is it? 96. So it's about 2 years difference. How long it ran. So those 2 years could have impacted differently. And the 90s was a unique year because things were changing so dramatically. The Jordans were coming out, different sports, the baggy pants were coming in, different kind of rap music coming out. A lot of different things came out. So here's some different, like the way they produce it a little differently. For example, depends where you live. Sometimes it was on ABC or CBS. I grew up on the reruns mostly. I did watch some of them, their live stuff, but again, I watched it mostly in Greece when the reruns coming out. So they they try to bring the classic Chicago family with a annoying neighbor. Cool. They ran for 215 shows. That's a pretty bad. The Jeffersons ran about 253. The Petersons ran about 355. Gives you an idea of how popular the show was. Now let's go to French Prince for a second here. Let's see what it is. Okay, so depends where you were. Again, it was NBC or ABC. Again, it depends what part of the country. HBO has it now. Um, Will Smith, played it as himself in a way, quote unquote. Um, that's how he started his career. 148 episodes, 6 seasons. They did a reunion special. I don't think reunion did as well. I don't think it was as good as the original. I'll give him that. Um, the cast debated on a lot of different things at the time. Again, the summary is the song, blah blah blah. Working class background ended up clashing with various humanist ways with the upper class. I think that's where the difference is. You have this shit. My brain just took a shit on me. It'll be nice. The Smiths, or the Bank family that was high class. He comes in as a poor guy, being a little punk ass at times, saying yada yada, and so. Excellent. Let me text Paul really fast. Uh, so being up class, low class, that's where the impact is. I'm not from Philly. I'm from New York. So as a New Yorker, you know, I say like, okay, that shit don't never fly in real life. But I definitely understand that. So as I was saying that, he had his own clique, he had his own friends. Jefferson, I mean, not Jefferson, the butler, goddamn name is Jefferson. Yeah, it was Jefferson. Okay, To me, he was the man of the show. You know what I'm saying? Making a crack joke on it, Uncle Phil. Well, stupid little kinks that made it classic to me. Versus, the Family Matter ones, it was more like a hardworking person, like Die Hard. That's the best way a lot of people explain it. It was more like a Die Hard PG experience, and at times it was like, was it as good or not? And that's the question we all ask: which one do you like? It really comes down to preference in the day, man. Which one do you personally like? No, all of them are good in their own way. But use Full House. That's a good show too. Nothing wrong with that show. That was their own freaking problems in it. That was again another middle class show. I'm not mistaken. I think Full House and Family Matters were set in both in the same state. I might be wrong on that one. I gotta look into that later on. So the question is I got for you guys, everybody in the chat right now. Give me one of the best memories you guys had of Family Matters, and one best memory of what's it called Fresh Prince. And which one do you think is better? Which one do you say I will put it on today and still watch it? You tell me which one would you prefer to watch. Come on, I'm all ears, guys. So, now let's touch base on the spinoff for 1 minute here. Why the spinoff was so different, so good, so this? The spinoff was different because it was more drama. It was more realistic, more today. Versus the old show was like cracking jokes like, okay, in real life that wouldn't happen. If you got arrested, you're not getting out of jail 3 or 4 times like Will Smith did because he got arrested. And all this other stuff. Again, the realistic thing. And it was entertainment. It was a show we used to watch. Again, it was that. To me, it was a great show. Either way, I liked it. I don't think they did a season 2. Actually, I'm gonna look it up right now. Actually, because I'm curious. And a question for Chess: has anybody checked out Bel-Air? That's a question I have for everybody. Have you guys even checked that out? Because I thought it was great. Here it is. I think it's where is it? And a fun side note, guys. I don't know if you guys know. When Bel-Air came to Will Smith's lap, it was a school project for a kid who wrote it. It was actually 3 seasons. Holy shit! I missed it. I have to catch up on that. There you go. It tells you how good it was. 3 seasons is not a bad season. For a show. And I don't know if it's going to be continuing a 4th season or not. But again, that tells you how good it was. Again, that's personal preference. But let's go about the classics here again. So I remember Carl with his short temper. Like, he couldn't open that damn vase one time. He just pulls his guns down like, oh, whoa, dude, chill out. Let's open it. Or Little Richie's little dollhouse trying to put it together, sucking him up, and all of a sudden he go, reading in Chinese, like, you look at him like, the fuck? And that's the little shit that we used to make us laugh. Versus now it shows like, I don't find a lot of shows funny nowadays, guys. I'll be honest with you. I think most of them are like, kind of, So, guest appearance. They both had a lot of different guest appearances, here and there. If not mistaken, I think I'm pretty right. Fresh Prince had Mr. Miyagi. That one to me was the best one. And I know he was like, ego hurt when his girlfriend defended him versus the other way out. And that was, a lot of men's issue sometimes. Now let's talk about theme songs. Oh, man. I am gonna be torn with this theme song because I think the theme song for Fresh Prince was 10 times better than any other theme song out there at the time. I did not like the Family Matters theme song at all. I hated that theme song. I'm like, oh god, couldn't wait to be over. Like now, if when I do go back and watch it one time, I skip the theme song. That's why I hate it. Now, Fresh Prince, it sticks in my head. I love that damn song. It's a good one. I enjoyed it. All right, let's get this guy in here. He hasn't been on for a while. Let me see what's going on here. There we go. Where the hell you been?
What's up, Groomy? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you hear nice and clear, brother. What's going on, man?
Oh, okay, I got my hairpiece. Oh man, yeah, just just trying to live, man. Move around slowly but surely, man. I'm waiting on you, man. You got your nice little hair growing back. You got your nice little do, man.
Hey,
So yeah, I was just chiming in, man. I saw the topic of the show, man. Fresh Prince, Steve Urkel, man. I'm a little older than Will Smith. And I think several years older than little Steve. But I like both shows, man.
but
You
if you
know,
had to pick one, which one would you pick? Which one you think is a little
I,
better?
I say just in the time when it came out, I would choose Fresh Prince just because, I was young like that in the dating game and, acting a fool in school sometime, but still, his character overdid it. But I think with Carlton, there was a mixture of Will Smith and Carlton back in high school when I was doing in school and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we had sisters and they had friends and then you get your little girlfriend. Sometimes you were serious, sometimes you wasn't. It's just being able to go out, party, have fun. When I say party, you can go to the skating ring, the student center, going to college. Just it was a good time. Steve Urkel, I was more young adult. You know, it was a little different. I looked at him like my little brother, a little cousin, something like that.
That probably know the shit out of you and want to strangle him half the times, probably.
No, no, no. I wasn't that type of brother though. For real, I had a brother who used to do some ignoring stuff, but he had to do what I told him to do, or else he was gonna get it.
hmm Now,
But I
culture,
made sure he did the right thing.
yeah, as a culture impact, which one do you think was more impacted as a culture from the 90s? Whether you think French Prince or Bel Air? Excuse
Uh,
me, or Family Matters, I should say. I apologize.
Say it again. What was the last thing?
What do you think is more impacted? Is it Family Matters or French Prince? I'm not talking about the reboot. I'm talking about the OGs, of course.
Uh, Greatest impact. I think they both was on sort of similar times, right?
hmm
Yeah. So, um, nah, it's hard. It's hard. I can't answer that. I can't answer that because I can see those real life experiences on both sides. That I guess just my age and how going through it. I think Steve Urkel he originally came off as a little, just a nerdy type of guy.
hmm
And even in real life, how nerds don't really get the woman that they made fun of,
Back
but they
then,
smart. You know what I'm saying?
back then, remember that. Now it's a
Yeah.
whole different world.
Oh, okay. So those guys that move like Steve Urkel now are getting the girl.
Oh yeah, they're getting more girls than ever. Anything like those,
Oh, okay.
because the geeks, the dorks, like they realize the guys who know how to fix these computers, like we're working on it right now, where they know how to do a great stream. They are, they are the ones. Okay, maybe
Okay.
not to the extreme. I think there was like overdone it on the show, obviously, but it
Yeah.
was a we had a good different mentality now. I think kids have now. Like,
But
okay, the geek and the
but
dork is not the end. Like the geek and the
right.
dork is actually the cool kids.
Right. Now see, from a guy's point of view, I totally agree 100%. But I don't think guys has never looked at guys that were sort of different in that capacity. We didn't ever look down on, at least my experience. Guys I know, I don't remember guys picking on the smart guy. It was normally the girls,
Yeah.
it was the women. And now with the internet, it's I can see why guys like that can gain favor a little bit because there's no longer face-to-face communication, and these most of these guys that live like the geek or nerd, they pretty good guys. They're not trying to come down on nobody. You know what I'm saying? They good, humble guys to probably
So
take care of themselves. So.
my high school experience is because I was a little bit of the geek, and it was like geek but into sports at the same time.
Mhm.
So I didn't really talk about like, oh, I'm into anime or comic books. I kept to myself because I was
Right?
gonna get picked on. But the guys fuck with you too if they realize, oh, you're reading comic books. You're not cool. Like if you're not talking about sports, cars, women, you were out of the clique. Simple as that. Like, and if you're
Okay.
into different music, like I wasn't really into the heavy metal at the time. I mean, the heavy shit, like Metallica, Five Finger, like screaming stuff. So if they saw you listen to that, like you were not, no, no, you
So
get pushed out.
so Groman, how many years am I older than you?
I'm
At least
38.
10, right? I see. I'm 18 years older than you. See what I'm saying?
It's two different
So
generations.
yeah, see, that's all I'm saying. I can understand exactly what you're saying as far as the shift in the young male to
Exactly.
male, female. But in my time, it was it wasn't so prevalent because most of us played outside and we had to socialize and communicate. It was just a different time. It's just, but both shows showed some, it was sort of what you would consider some buffoonery sometime, but
Mm-hmm.
also it had a good moral to the story. That's why I
Totally agree.
like both of them,
one Hundred
you
percent.
know?
I think that's what we're missing in today's shows. They have no moral and no message behind every single episode. Even cartoons, GI Joe. Here, they was after the show go. They do something stupid. Like in the end, they go, yeah, knowing is half the battle. And
Yep.
that's why I like these shows. I still watch.
Hmm.
The other night, I was watching Family Matters. I was like laughing my ass off. Like I
Yep.
think they're
Yep.
hilarious. Instead,
Yep.
but they both have different messages in different way. I remember watching an episode when Edward, the son got pulled over by a cop. The only reason he got pulled
Hmm.
over because he was in a white neighborhood and is a black guy. You know how many times I got pulled over as a kid because I had a loud car and I was in the wrong neighborhood and they pulling me over like the fuck, man. Now it's not a matter
Yeah.
of black or white. It depends, where you are pretty much and who the
Yeah.
fucking cop is. And you have some cops who are, they're doing their jobs correctly to the T. And there's some of them who are power hungry because they have a gun and a badge. That I can do whatever I want. I tell fuck you. I tell them that. But there again, it depends who you are, and that
Right.
that hit home for me because even for you probably. How many times do you see people get pulled out of the car for doing nothing, just driving in a different neighborhood, and they're not familiar? Think about it. Back in the day.
Well, I can say this. Uh, Growing to us high school with a lot of white students,
Mm-hmm.
majority of the school was white. Living in, the type of neighborhood I grew up in, I ain't gonna lie. As far as during that time, even when I was in the white neighborhoods, very seldom got pulled over. Very seldom had bad experiences like that for myself. Now, one thing I never did, whether you were black, white, green, yellow, I never let people talk to me disrespectfully. You know what I'm saying? That I never
Yeah.
did. But as far as the police, we didn't do like, if we was going to do our dirt, drink and smoke, we would do all that before we get in the car, pretty much.
That was smart.
We wouldn't go ride around smoking with the scent coming out the car, knowing we trying to get to the party and where the girls is at. So we did the look, or we waited till we got there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And if we got pulled over, everybody had ID. You know what I'm saying? I didn't hang around guys that wasn't prepared for the mission. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I play sports. If you weren't trying to complete the mission, I've been all over the country, man, and I got pulled over, and whatever. Pretty much it was mostly speeding or whatever, and whatever little thing,
Oh, so you were
yeah,
young
I
and probably
just
stupid.
I just took it and gave him what he asked for and moved on. I knew I needed insurance. I knew I needed my registration, so I kept that up to date. And I didn't really hang out with people rooming that didn't want to complete the mission for real. I would take you out. I would expect for us to have everything we need to get back home safely. You know, that's
Hmm.
how I always look at it. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm too old for it.
No, 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 no. I like you get you because this is even these shows. They're similar, but they also have different generation and messages a little bit. If you think about it, because one is more closer to early '90s, and one is more late '90s, because they have different
Mhm.
vibe for them. You know what I'm saying? They're both are at different locations. At one, it was in shit. Where is it? Bel-Air, and one is on Fresh Cisco, I believe. So
Huh?
this,
Say it again.
I think
Be- uh, Fresh Prince is in Cali and
yep.
Family Matters in Chicago.
Okay, so they're in two different places in the world when they're playing
Yeah.
the show. So that makes a difference, huge difference. So how the culture is and everything that, like, you can't say like, okay, the culture in New York versus the cultures in Los Angeles is the same. It's not.
Hmm.
The mindset is differently. I've been in different states, and people are like, I talk to them like, oh, you're completely different. Wow. I'm like, I'm surprised. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, some of there's some similarities but within those similarities, there are some differences. It's just how it's
Totally agree.
executed.
I totally agree on that.
Because even with Fresh Prince, it showed that black people were successful, living in nice, comfortable homes. They showed
Absolutely.
that. And then with the Family Matter, and both of them comparably, both of them lived in homes where the father was the breadwinner and doing his thing. One was a stay-at-home mom, and then it showed how the woman evolved once the kids get older. See, I always believe that those messages just propel the children,
Here's my
not just
pushback right now.
within the show. Okay.
Here's my pushback. In Prince, because he went to live with his uncle, his father left him, if you remember.
Well, yeah, those are real life scenarios that
Totally
happen.
agree.
You know,
And
so but
and
but then you see how because I use that actual show to demonstrate to young men how you may be in these situations, and that's why I love that episode so much, because despite what happens when that person makes a decision,
hmm
what I'm saying, what are you going to do as a young man to better your life moving forward? Because you know that's probably the worst thing that can happen to you, when somebody that you know should love you tell you that they don't really want you.
it's the worst
So
feeling in
how
the
do
world.
you right, and see with the Fresh Prince, the family aspect, and with the Family Matters, the village, because Steve Urkel was an annoying little kid next door,
Hmm
didn't really have no friends. He loved the shit out of that family. He came in without being invited. You know what I'm saying? So that all of those are good things. Those are good things to me, man. So just
See,
different versions.
is one episode of Fresh Prince that it always hit home for me. Even though I watch now, it tears me. I'm not. Call me a bitch. Call me a pussy. Call me. It tears me up to this fucking day. When his father finally came back, and they were planning this
Hmm.
trip to go somewhere, and he was bailing on him again, and you know,
Yeah,
what was Banks was going off. I'm like, dude, come on, you can't be bailing on him every time.
yeah,
So eventually, Will shows up because I got balance, whatever. He goes, all right. He goes, good trip, and he called him by his first name, and and then he goes, starts going on like, I'm gonna get some honeys, I'm gonna get a
yeah,
job, I'm gonna do this. All of a sudden, he
exactly.
just breaks down. He goes, "What does he love me, man?" He does, and he hugged his father. I'm like, you get goosebumps just thinking about it right now.
Yeah,
It's
hey,
just like, and that's a real scenario. It hit home.
yeah, but grooming. Listen to how you describe it, and now me. I actually had a group of 10 to 50, I would say a total a day, showing this video to multiple times, maybe about 6 years, 7 years. Every year, I would show this between, because sometimes I switch schools, between sixth grade and 12th graders, this very video about their life and connection to that. Not all. It's not. See that even that video, it speaks loud, but it's a small number of men living in that life. But the consequences are far beyond that small number. It's not. Most black men don't live that life. There are incidents, and those incidents are always going to be highlighted for those who want to highlight the negative anyway. But for the go, but that small number that actually lives that life, the repercussions are 10 times that small number.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can say one a half of 0.5% out of all black men. Maybe not even it's not a high percentage of men that do that because most want to be in the life. And you see what the mother did. The mother shipped him out. You know what I'm saying? But in our community, the mother just don't let. A lot of times when they guys want to be in a relationship early, and then the mother fight them, and then a lot of guys just walk away from it. Be like, man, I'm not gonna do it. Then they try to. The problem is trying to circle back later. See, and that's where the problem is. But in Will's case, the father came through trying to fix something for himself and not the child. See what I'm saying? He was trying to because he sold Will another dream, basically what the show say. And I can see, but in Will's case, he had strong family backing. In a lot of these young men's cases, grooming, they don't have that male support to lean on. So when they get to that realization in their life where everybody said fuck it, guess what they do to society? They say fuck you too. So if you run up on them and they ain't feeling in a good mood, the police pull them over, and you say something out of bounds, those guys could take your block off. I've talked to those guys, grooming. I've had to talk them off the ledge. I used to have them crying. Like you say, you got teared up. I kept 2 boxes of tissue every time I showed that because guys would break down crying.
See, you know what amazes me?
So
Maybe you can put some light on this more because it's more your department than mine. So we had all these shows explaining, don't leave your kids, do the right thing, all this stuff. Friends, Prince, Family, that's Full House, I can go on and on, right? But that message never went across to anything. There's still people are still doing this. People in my generation did the opposite. What we're trying to teach them, don't do X, Y, and Z. They did the opposite. Maybe you can push the line. Why do you think that happened?
because there's one thing for a TV show to exemplify the so-called what is it called, the American dream lifestyle, two-parent home, children going to school, being active, even with what is it, Family Matters. Steve Urkel, although he was annoying, he was a smart kid. Laura was bright. Even the son, he was athletic and he had to push through, and he did that. Fresh Prince, family, you know, it was a family atmosphere. So it showed that. Now that's TV. But then when you come to reality, there's no man in that position. So without the man being in the position, the children are always going to go the opposite way.
Okay.
America is not a difficult fix, in my opinion. It's just not. But America has to, because think about it, Groomy, even guys who didn't have a father, if they get the right training at the right time, they go on to be successful.
True. So
So that's how I look at it.
let me ask you this question. I know it's not really part of the subject. I'm gonna bring it up for 1 minute. I don't know if you watched the reboot of Fresh Prince. It's called Bel-Air. It's actually a really good show. I thought. Have you watched it first of all?
No, I didn't watch it. I knew it was on what, about 2 years ago or something.
It
But
had 3 seasons. So
okay,
I think it's still going. I'm not sure. I only watched the first season. The season I did watch, it was very, very good. It hit more home than anything because it was
okay,
more realistic in my opinion. The
okay,
father came in. He's the father showed up. They found him. Hey, what's up, son? And he's all like, ghetto. Like he's from the street.
right,
And his son is from the street, and they were like, they really had a boxing match right in the middle of the living room at one point. And the
right,
father had, the uncle, whoa, 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 what are you doing in my house like that, dude? You don't even gonna disrespect, my, in my house. He was like, oh,
right,
okay,
right,
this is more reality now. So
right, right.
I just wanted your opinion if you did watch it. Obviously, you haven't.
Uh,
I think
I
that's a
mean,
question
but
that. Go ahead.
but but even in your description of it, it's easy for me to understand from my point of view because when you have two adults who've never seen each other, but they are related to each other, and then you're talking family and son.
Hmm.
See, that's a different from brother and uncle and father and son when two males, because one's coming with an already preconceived notion that you didn't love me,
Yeah.
and the other one's coming from I don't know what to expect, but he's a strong man anyway, and the son doesn't really know the other half of the relationship story. They've only
Yeah.
heard it from so when they
They did
meet,
change. They did change some
okay.
things around. Like Carlton, for example, he's not only this prep boy. He's athletic, who's actually addicted to drugs, and they try to
Oh,
hide
see.
it. You see, they made it more realistic. It was like,
And
oh
now,
shit.
but you see how the negative tone is in there now. Carlton, instead of being a nerdy smart guy, now he's a down drug addict. I mean, just the subliminal messages is all I'm saying. But as far as the relation, that incident with the father, yeah, it could be like that because when
I
two,
believe.
here's the good thing, Roman. I found good in it because I believe it needs to happen for them to get that message across to each other face to face.
Hmm.
That would be the greatest thing for men to say, okay, I'm just like him because I'm an asshole too. I'm just like him because we see the same stuff, but now let me understand why he wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the one underlying story the young man get. Because it's two sides. Mama ain't said I ain't want this motherfucker around me because he cheated on me. See, she ain't telling you that. Or I cheated on him and told him it was his baby wasn't when it wasn't his baby. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. You know what I'm saying? When I told him it wasn't his baby, but it was somebody else's, then come to find out it was the guy who been wanting to be the father. See what I'm saying? Shit like that. So all that shit need to come out. That's all. I'm sorry.
And things are always gonna come out eventually. There are a lot of everybody has their own little demons in the closet. I always say that. So like we're nobody's perfect out there, and so I think that's one thing about what I like about these shows because they show light on a lot of things. Like, hey, not perfect. Like I remember when Steve turned into Stefan because I was as a geek, dork, whatever you want to call it. He wasn't perfect, but he made this juice. I can't remember what it was called. He drinks it, and all of a sudden he becomes this cool guy, smart, intelligent, smart guy that all the women were going after him. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I remember it, man. That's the thing. That's the evolution of the show. I think that brought another element because we like that, group. I mean, we evolve like that. So
Of
yeah, I
course.
appreciate it.
Yeah. So he was going back and forth with that different character. And sometimes they went a little overboard with it. Like, they were adding like Bruce juice or something else juice. And that's the comedy part of it. So, but I did like the family part that they actually have the main character, the father figure. Not only he's always in a family, he's also a police officer. You don't have a lot of shows back then that happen like that.
That's what I'm saying. Those two did a good job of showing the balance and the differences in our cultures.
Yeah.
You know, it's not all bad, and with a little motivation at the right time from the right person, which typically would be the father, it would benefit us all.
So now, do you feel
America would
like
be
they
great.
tackled a lot of issues back then that people wouldn't talk about?
Yep, and that's how it was. They tackled them on TV, but again, once you come to the real life, they tried to depict another story, and they would highlight those that didn't have the father and mother. They just go to the ones that they know. It's like within the rap music. Because remember back then, they also tried to censor rap music,
That's true.
and people said no grooming, and now we went from saying the bitch in the song for 15 times to fuck you, eat my. It's almost fuck you, everybody in your family music now. That's the way they talk now. So we
I
should have
think that
censored that shit.
I remember the worst song at the time back then was maybe it's a little further back than I'm thinking. It was can you remember what rap group was? It was Ice T and some other guys. Man, I'm trying to remember the name of them now. There was "Fuck the Police." If you remember that, song, and that was literally the word. There was they said it. A lot of concerts when the cops were there says, "Don't play that song because we're not gonna protect you." And of course, they didn't listen to them. Man, it was like every show they did, it was a riot always. That's how bad it was. And yeah, you know what? I kind of get it. They got fucked over so many, because you're going through the time or period that cops had all this weird different things were going on. They were able to cover before body cams. You could like getaways murder. Like I wish I had the other Trey on this one because he would be a good guest on here because he could have put more light on this. But
Yeah.
again, the show is it talks about this stuff too. And like how many times cops did not do the right thing. And like the time, like I mentioned earlier, his son got pulled over because he was in the wrong neighborhood. That's not a reason to pull somebody over. Like these are issues we were having back then. And I think even some stuff they talk about is still an issue today, but not as much. You know what I'm saying?
But even back then in certain neighborhoods, they had community watches and people that were paid to sort of investigate strangers coming into their neighborhood. It was just the
Yeah.
way it was. But that's why you shouldn't be in certain places after dark if you ain't got no invitation, you know.
True.
But and if you ain't doing nothing wrong, then grooming just like you was going somewhere, or you can say you was somewhere where you shouldn't have been. However, whoever was their security saw you and recognized you wasn't from there, pulled you over to see who you were. You had all your paperwork right,
Oh yeah, I had everything legit.
and they let you go on your way.
Oh yeah,
Held you up 2 minutes. Mm.
it was a little more than 2 minutes, but yeah, I know I see where you're going with this. And then again, those are some of the things that we need to talk. So, but now let's put Will Smith and Steve Urkel together for a second. If they had a meet and they had, let's say, a show off, where what show would be better? Which one do you think will win?
I think at this point, probably Steve Urkel.
The way how generous. Even think about it, like Steve Urkel might again he might be in a gig, and that's fine, cool and dangy. But again, we're talking about today is the geek is the one who's building an AI system now. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I'm curious. Like, if they had a reboot Family Matters, and they haven't, that's the only show that I know of my knowledge, they haven't rebooted yet. It's eventually going to be rebooted like anything else. I wonder how is that show is going to be different versus other shows. Is it going to be as good as the original and doing like 7, 8 seasons? Or you think it's going to crash after 3 seasons like most shows?
I don't think it'd be as good because the innocence of it wouldn't be there. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Just like the reboot of Fresh Prince. Now, Carlton, now he's on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, you know what I'm saying? The innocence ain't there. With Steve Urkel, it do have to be a strong kid, very natural, but it's gonna be something that represents the life which perpetuates the BS today. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm
See,
saying.
here's a side note. Two side notes. Side number one. Urkel was never supposed to be a full member of the show. He was supposed to be a one-off, come in, give his skits, maybe 2 episodes tops, and they were going to write him off. But when they realized he was more popular, because that show was struggling. It was like the first season was the worst season they had because it was so they didn't get viewership. But all of a sudden, Steve Urkel comes in, and all of a sudden, everybody goes, "Oh, who the hell is this guy?" And he's like, this is actually funny. And that's where the show actually start getting momentum. Now, the second side note is with the Fresh Prince, the reboot, Bel-Air is called. They came across it by accident. It's actually a kid who was doing um, a paper on it. I think it was in acting class or something like that. And I don't remember Jack whole story how Will Smith, because he owns the right of Will Smith, of Bel Air. Um, he this fell in his lap, not literally, and he read it. He goes, "Wow, this is actually good." So they tweaked it a little bit, but he actually the kid, directed it and wrote the whole thing as a project, and it just went off from there. So if it does get a fourth or fifth season, is gonna be a decent show. When it doesn't have more than one or two only one season, yeah. I personally thought it was good personally, to be honest with the reboot. But again, you have to keep in mind, it's not the original, it's different. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you're right. Everything you said is correct, man. And it's hard to choose. You chose two good shows too, man. Because it's hard. I ain't gonna lie, man. Although I said Fresh Prince, I like Steve Urkel's show, man. He brought a greater appreciation for the underdog.
Oh God, yeah, 100%.
Mhm.
Because he was always chasing Laura. He never got. Eventually, got a girlfriend and a cute girl too. For him scoring zeros all the time, and eventually Laura actually fell in love with him and married him in the show. If you remember, the girl of his love, he always would chase. She said no, 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 and eventually she said yes, and that was a nice twist that I liked towards the end. But the only thing I didn't like towards the end, again, there's nothing wrong with the show, when they changed the mother in Family Matters. Um, the actors the last season, I think it was a money thing. Most likely it was a money thing, most likely. And they didn't resign her and brought somebody else. It lost the magic when you change that main real big character, you know. And I'm like, what the hell? I mean, like, if you look at watching it back, like, it doesn't feel the same still as with the actor. The actor does make the show, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, the original cast. Once that's broken, then it loses its luster.
Yeah.
Uh, I think even with the script now, looking at the script from Family Matters, it goes to show what guys are complaining about today, right? Steve Urkel was young, trying to come up and do his thing, right? Was turned down by the woman. Then towards the end, he was able to take on a whole new identity, and now he's at the finish line when and he's more valuable. Now Laura like, "Ooh, Steve, I want you." You know what I'm saying? So you look at it today, guys are talking about, oh, she don't want to work with me when I'm young and broke, but she want to catch up with me, when I made it. So similar, man, similar messages, just matching the time. That's all.
And that's it makes it the thing that changes it. You know what I'm saying? There's one thing they do have a comment with the actors. Here's where I think it's kind of interesting, and I just realized as you were saying this. So, Family Matters lost the main character, the mother, in the end of the show. Towards six, seven season. I don't remember which one they lost it. Right towards the end. It was like the last season. Okay. Now, Will Smith, the original mother, they lost her after the first season because again, contract. I know that was contract for facts, and then brought the other one in, and she was actually a better fit for the show versus the other one. The ones where it was very cold. Her vibe to the show came up as her acting skill. This is my personal opinion again. So I think it's interesting how they have the similar problem but a different way. I don't know if you're trying to talk or you're mute. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was muted, man. I thought you was talking, man. You finished?
No, 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 no. You go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm finished. Go ahead.
No, I mean, yeah, they were similar. It just like I said, when they changed the character, I think it was a contract dispute. From what they talked about it once they do their little 20, 30 year reunions and stuff. But just unfortunate for real. You know. We need shows like that today, but the those that are in charge not trying to push that type of message. It's just a whole bunch of showing your ass messages. Just terrible.
never have the balls to do that today. Simple. Because that is you. They were breaking grounds back then, beyond grounds, and you know what? You couldn't. They couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? No way. Because as much as you could, break those grounds, and now these days, if you broke the same grounds, making the same show in 2024, you're getting crucified, no matter what. Calling a woman easy, remember the one episode they called Laura easy, the rumor spreading, a guy slept with her, yada yada, and that never happened. If you brought that subject up today, you're gonna ask in a can of worms. The critics are going to fuck you up easily. You don't think so?
Well, I believe you when you said that those things could happen, but the imagery that it was depict to the people that people of color can build family, can build legacy through hard work, through Family Matters,
Mm-hmm.
through Fresh Prince, and that's what it is. You to show that you can raise children and work as a unit. Now, here's the thing, because I look at Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live been doing the same corny ass shit since it started. Same corny ass skit, not even humor for real. It's just, and they make fun of everybody. That shit's been lasting since it started, and it's the same thing. So to me, again, I may look at it a little bit more deeper, or just maybe just from a you
So,
know.
okay,
So
let's talk about Saturday Night Live for a second here. Saturday Night Live, you're right. They were doing the same corny jokes over and over, and a lot of major actors got their break from Saturday Night Live. Sam Adams was one of them. Jim Carrey's to another one, and so on. But they haven't changed anything. But people keep going back and watching it. How many seasons have been on right now? Here. I'll look it up actually as you're talking. Go ahead. You're on mute again.
no, I didn't say anything. I was waiting on you.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Say what we're gonna say. I said. Let me look something up pretty fast. How many seasons? Okay. Saturday Night Live has been on 49 seasons. It started in 1975. That's a long
Hmm.
fucking time. And
That's
if
what
you
I'm
look at the
saying.
cast, it's humongous over the years. You had Eddie Murphy, William Ferrer. I'm trying to think the big ones that I know. Keith, Kenny Thomas. He was like Keenan and Kel, if you remember that show back in the day.
Yeah, Colin Farrell, Jim Belushi, John. I mean, all them,
Yeah.
everybody.
Danny Aqua, who played in Ghostbusters. You have Billy Horace, Billy Murray. Billy Murray was in this shit? I didn't know that.
Bill Murray, all of them was in there. It all started, man. Just a whole bunch of young kids coming out of acting school, man. Just
Yeah, Adam Sandler, Dave Spayer. There's only a few of them. I'm naming off like the big ones. I'm catching. Like I'm going fast with the list because how fucking goddamn big this goddamn shit is.
yeah.
Jim Carrey was in this.
Hmm.
Like all the big names that we laugh and watch movies now, they're in it now.
Well, Jim
And
Carrey came later after he spent his time with a Living Color. He stayed with them damn near to the end. But
yeah,
yeah, man, it's a lot of greats that come through the Saturday Night Live, but it's the same. It's different topics, the same similar style. Ain't too much change.
but I'm saying like like people keep going back to it, but nothing has really changed over the years. So
Right.
is it that good, or it's just one of those things like it is what it is kind of thing?
It makes white people laugh. You think they gonna always keep a show on that makes them laugh? They don't care about no Fresh Prince
Honestly,
show.
bro, like as a Greek white American, I don't even watch that show. To be honest with you, I don't think it's that funny.
But but why you think it's still one of the top shows that been on TV, whether you watch it or not? And I'm not trying to be with features, but it's enough that watch it every year and it gets the same results.
Yeah, I think I would
And the
definitely
writers
say,
and the writers have changed. You know, they I don't know if you're a good actor, they'll bring you up. If you the top 10 doing that month a week, they'll bring you on the show. Mhm.
yeah, like I said, now it's another name, Jim Falcon. Like he's pretty funny, believe it or not. Like some of his stuff, I actually do like. I'm just surprised how many Michael Myers shit. I didn't know he was in this shit. So anybody, he's been on this show at one point. I know The Rock was on there at one time too, as a guest, and like a time thing. You know what I'm saying?
When you get on Saturday Night Live as a
You made
host
it.
or any point in your career,
You made it.
can you hear me? Yeah, you made it.
Yeah.
You get on Saturday Night Live at any point, you made it. You up for an award. You done broke some records. You done made up somebody a whole bunch of money. That's what you done did.
Oh, definitely, definitely, because that's a different time. Something new and exciting at the same time is like, a good example. The guys who did Back to the Future. Now, here's a catch with them. Great movie. I think it holds up to this day. It's one of the best movies from the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Did you know they make a musical now out of it?
Yeah, it was a classic.
Yeah.
I was a teenager, man, when these movies came out, man. So they was box office hits then.
Oh man,
Mhm.
I remember like because I always say it and you hear me say this a lot. 85 and up, 85 to 90, I think it was the best years for movies, hands down.
Grooming, how old was you in 1985?
I was born, fucker.
That's what I'm saying. You was watching reruns. I was catching it when it first came out.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing one bit about that. I was probably in my, listen, dude. Like in '85, I just came out of my dad's sperm bank finally.
That's what I'm saying. So think about it. As you got older, you start seeing things and movies and events that happened back in the 80s, like, dang, I wasn't even alive and this stuff was happening. And see how cool it was in a sense compared to you being a grown man today and seeing that shit. You like, what the fuck is this shit falling apart?
But but what I'm trying to say is like, okay, they use a couple of movies: Top Gun, Ghostbusters, and Back in the Future. Those are three movies I can come up with my head right now. They're they're very good movies. Now let's look at today's movies. Ghostbusters rebooted twice so far. They did a reboot and two sequels. The sequel wasn't bad. The second one, the first one, I mean, the second one I haven't seen the sequel yet. But Top Gun, okay, yeah, I'll give it. They've been talking about making another Back to the Future ever since forever, but they're never going to do it because Michael J. Fox cannot even stand anymore. Besides, even voice acting. You know what I'm saying? But my point is trying to get to this is those movies hold up. Now imagine any other movie now these days is it gonna hold up as well as those movies back then?
I think with uh, Back to the Future, I think out of respect for Michael J. Fox, they won't recast it. But
They never say
I,
recast it. They say they're gonna do a fourth one. They want to do.
what I mean is, I don't, he can't really play the role.
Oh no.
So they're going to give him the respect. And I believe at some point when that time comes, they'll go ahead and just do a whole new movie out of respect, and out of homage. I don't think they'll do it while he's alive,
Mm-hmm.
unless because he's going to have to approve it anyway. But I think out of respect, because he's ill, he was a young man that just took ill, and he's not in his brightest of minds today. But I think out of respect, but I think at some point it could come back. They could once that time comes. Is all I'm gonna say.
Oh, I totally agree with you. At some point, they have to do something. You know what I'm saying? You know what I would be okay with, and I agree on Cash Rain's. I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but it's coming. They should not, and I agree with that. But what I would be okay, they did a little sketch a while back. Fox is actually in a wheelchair, and he's the scientist now. That'd be a very good spin-off. I like that if they had him as Doc now, versus him as the young rebel kid who's getting himself in some kind of fucking in trouble in the future or past and fucking things up. Maybe his kids are in the future now, like, holy shit, I fucked up. Yeah, now I see what Doc was doing the whole time. I can get behind that. I will probably get behind that and say, yeah, okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But if they tell me you're gonna do a reboot, no, I'll be against that completely. I say, fuck you. No, I do not want a reboot. But really fast, guys. So if you're new to the channel, first time, please hit like and share, subscribe, and also, I have the link in the chat if you'd like to join us with this conversation. The only thing I ask, is just be respectful when you come up. But yes, as I was saying, there's some movies that should never, like, they were talking about doing a reboot on what was it? Shit, I can't remember what movie it was. It was an 80 movie. I use Ghostbusters, for example. They rebooted that movie where they did a female cast, and that sucked. The whole movie was horrible. I think it was one of the worst movies in that year. I can't remember what year it was, but it was one of the worst. They had freaking the guy who played Thor. I can't remember his name right now. Chris something. He played as the secretary. I'm like, seriously? It makes no
Yeah,
fucking sense.
it makes plenty of sense, Grumman.
Oh, please. The floor is yours. I would like to hear this.
Think about the message that tries to come to the front of the society.
Mm-hmm.
Women are stronger, men are weaker. Think about it,
Fuck
Grumman. I mean,
you.
yeah. No, what I'm saying is that's the message that's how I look at it. Why would they cast it with all women and make the Thor guy? Now you talk about a motherfucker that can conquer, can defend the world. Now he's, yes, ma'am, I will answer the phone. Come on, man. That's
I'm
just
gonna
my
push back
thought.
on that. No, I understand what you're trying to say, what message they're trying to deliver. But with different ways. But when they did the sequels ones, that made more sense because they had a guy in it, they had a girl in it, they had a little bit of everything in it, and that made more
Yeah,
sense to me.
yes, you're right. Listen, you see how they hurry up and recast the recast, right? Because they understood, like, no, that ain't it. That ain't Ghostbusters.
It wasn't
So now,
recast.
no,
It
what I'm
wasn't a
saying is,
recast. They
no,
that
listen, the
Go ahead.
the women, okay, remember, you had the original Ghostbusters. Now you had a whole different cast with all women. That's a recast. That's with
No,
all
that was a
women.
reboot. That was a reboot.
Right? Okay. Okay. So I guess I get it. Okay. So the reboot, but it was different cast members too. Wasn't none of them the original cast members.
Yeah.
Right. So that's all I'm saying. So now you see, there was what, 2016, 2017,
Hmm.
and now you come back now. They had another reboot with a whole variety of Ghostbusters, girls, boys. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. I like Ghostbusters, even with the women. I said, because I recognize, like, oh, okay, they got now women are Ghostbusters, and just the script, how everybody played their little role. I
I'm
mean, I'm
not
more into
saying
that.
I'm not saying they couldn't use a woman as a Ghostbuster. I'm not saying that at all. They could, but they did it with the sequel, Part 3, whatever you want to call it, and Part 4. Because I don't remember the names, that's why I'm saying Part 3 and Part 4. But when they did the whole woman, it made no sense. The whole story did not make no sense. Like, is recasting Steve Urkel as a woman. That that makes no sense to me. I'm sorry. I'm like, is it possible? Yeah, but if you give me a good script, a good thing, you can recast fucking Steve Urkel and Will Smith as a female main characters, and if it's as good as the original, I will take my hat off to you, and I will tell you on the air I was fucking wrong.
But grooming, here's where it makes sense to me. Everything you said is 1,000%. However, the message that goes beyond the movie, women are stronger than you. Women can remember it's a whole equal rights movement that's trying to be pushed, equal pay, equal rights. So you have to put the image to the front first.
Mm-hmm.
See, women can fight ghosts too. No, in real life, women have to be in the closet somewhere scared, unless they had to. For the most part, they ain't trying to get slimed on. They ain't trying to have all that. You know what I'm saying? Based off the movie. But women are powerful. There's women that could, do it, but it just took away. I think they recognized that and came back with another one very soon.
Yeah. Cash says in his comment, he liked the cartoon series in like '80s of the Ghostbusters, and I totally agree, my man. I think that is I love that cartoon series. I'm not mistaken. I think the cartoon series came first, then the show, the movie. I'm actually going to look that up right now, actually. Which one was first? Because now I'm goddamn curious. Because
Yeah.
the cartoon, it was on for years, if you remember. It was called The Real Ghostbusters.
Shout out to Gen X because we had all those good cartoons. You had Beavis and Butthead and SpongeBob.
I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of them, yes, you're right about that.
I
They
know.
were. Because I remember even the show I did on my other show, my other show was about that, like why the cartoons are so different. So you remember it was like we did, me and Paul did it. So the cartoon series came out 80, 85, 86. It came out, and it ended in 91. So the cartoon came out first, then the show. That means
Yeah. Cartoon was out first.
okay. Because
See, that's what Gen X, man. We had all that good stuff, man, lined up, man. We learned from stuff like that. Stuff back in the day used to make you feel brave after you watched it. The cartoon, some of the cartoon like Speed Racer, the Thundercats, it made you feel brave and want to be protective. Then they start coming with this Beavis and Butthead doing dumb shit. And SpongeBob, I saw at one time
oh,
there
I
was a
hate that
study,
show.
but there was a
Go ahead.
study done on SpongeBob SquarePeg that it caused ADHD. When I was working in social services, they had a report like SpongeBob. Oh, okay. Then y'all had Barney. Did you have Barney grooming? How were you when Barney
I
was out?
fucking hate Barney. Don't you dare sing that song. I'm gonna strike
No,
you.
no, no. I don't even know the song. But what I'm saying is, were you a kid when it came out?
Yeah, I was a kid.
Oh man, you used to watch Barney, man. Your friends did. Going to
Oh, I know
school
a
talk
lot
about
of people who used to watch
Barney.
it. Like, but I hated that show so bad. It wasn't funny. And, like the show I actually stuff grew up with was more um what's it called like GI Joe and stuff like that. That's what I used to watch the old stuff. But I forget I grew up in Greece, so when Barbara was coming out, I was in Greece already.
Grooming. Don't you know the first black action figure that I knew of, and the first GI Joe was a black man.
I mean, the very first action figure ever came out, or
What,
what was yours
what
first?
I no, not the first action figure that ever came out, but
Mm-hmm.
from the first action figure that was black was GI Joe.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can look it up. You can Google GI Joe now. Old
Really?
school. It's gonna be a black man with good hair. He got a beard just like yours.
Yeah,
He had uniforms and everything. I used to have one. I had all the latest toys when I was a kid.
No shit, you're right.
Hmm
You,
I used to
you
have
always
all
had
that
some good
stuff,
stuff.
man.
I didn't know that you were right.
I know you didn't.
Yeah.
That's why I'm older than you,
So,
man. My name is Mr. Ferguson.
yeah, that's right. Hang on one second. Yo, take over the show for one.
Well, folks, here, Groomy had a little, I guess, a little situation he had to handle. My name is Trey Ferg at the Player Coach. Please go ahead and subscribe to my channel at Trey Ferg at the Player Coach. Sometime I'm the
My
player,
my
sometime
bad.
I'm the coach.
So yeah, back then it was those was you know, I'm just surprised to see I didn't know that it was like it says here it was like 1964,
Yeah.
based off the Cold War Hasbro dated the
hmm
toy type. He
Yeah.
actually looked like freaking from the 50s, like he was about to go disco.
Listen, man. Listen, man. I played with Army, man. I had all the men, all the Jeeps. My parents bought me a lot of boy stuff. So I had all that, man, as a kid. Train sets, racing car sets. I had all that shit. And listen, you can look at Google this, Stretch Armstrong. Stretch Armstrong was basically a rubber action figure like the Fantastic Four Stretch Man, right?
I remember seeing him around growing up. Yeah, I
But
remember
but but I
those
had
toys.
one. Yeah, I had one, and it was like a little kid workout machine because you stretch it, and you got to use some muscles to stretch it. And there was also a green monster too. There was a stretch green monster. I had both of them. I'm telling you, man, I used to work that thing out, man.
I don't remember that, but I do remember.
That's because you're a baby.
I remember getting slime and stuff like that. I mean, that was like the thing back then. Because Ghostbusters was a big thing. Toy guns, dude. Now if you buy a toy gun, you're like people look down on you like, why are you buying your son a toy gun? It's like against everything but people believe. Like, are you serious? Is this a toy fucking gun? It's not a big deal. I don't see the issue with it. But again, now these days everything's an issue if you think about it. I wonder how much one of those original GI Joe will go for these days. How much
Today,
money? Yeah.
I think it wasn't that much, man. A couple of hundred when I looked it up. I looked it up not long ago too, a couple months ago. They had various prices depending on what all they came with. Because
Honestly,
some people still had the uniforms that it came with. Because you could change the outfits of the GI Joes and the action figures back in the day. You used to have two or three different outfits. He had a short set. I had all that shit, man. That was my only action figure I ever had was GI. Well, besides Stretch Armstrong, that was the only two I ever had.
I had a lot of Batman and Ninja Turtles growing up from the 90s.
And now
I still have a
Batman,
bunch of them.
yeah, I grew up watching Batman on TV. So when the movie started coming out, I used to look at that like, oh man, that's for the little kids, man, little kid movie.
Actually, when they came out with Batman, what was it? Batman, the Dark Knight series. That was gruesome, bro. That was not only for
Yeah,
kids. It was more than for
yeah,
kids, believe it or not. People were
yeah, yeah,
surprised
yeah,
how it was. Like Dark Knight,
yeah,
specifically Dark Knight. Not as
yeah.
much Dark Knight Rising. I would say Dark Knight with the
hmm
Joker. The way he was laughing, like, why so serious? The way he coming after, how I got my scars. He was like twitching, and I think that's why the
hmm
actor went crazy. To be honest with you, because he became the Joker. I performance. I give him a round of applause. I'm not gonna deny that, but he went too far with it to the point he took his own. I think he took his own life, if I'm not mistaken. But now superhero movies are not what they used to be, bro. Forget what you remember as a young adult. Some of the movies are gruesome. Freaking, you have Deadpool, the first Deadpool. He's literally sitting there with a blind grandmother jerking off. I'm like, what the fuck? What kind of fuck shit is this shit? Great movie, don't get me wrong. But the superhero movies that we remember, they're not like they used to be. or you remember because you're like fucking older than me, Grandpa.
But grooming, I'll say this: you better hope and pray you look as good as me when you get as old as me.
I don't need a prayer. I'll probably look better.
Well,
I will look
when
better. Don't worry.
when you get here, show up and let me know. Come on up here first. Come on, I'm waiting on y'all. I'm waiting on all y'all to get up here.
Listen. I have gray hairs. I need to have more hair
That
than you already.
that's what I'm saying. So in that 18 years from now, you better hope you look as good as me. But yeah, that was just a different time, man. You know, it wasn't as gruesome. You could take the whole family and watch the movie and see the animation and excitement in the movie. Now, hell,
Hmm.
it's they trying to make the because I remember when doing that Batman, they started making that blood gush out like a water faucet, damn near hit the screen. Like, oh my God, somebody just, you know what I'm saying? They showed the
Here's my
bullets
issue with some of these
penetrating the
movies now.
body.
Here's my pushback on movies now, and I think you're going to agree with it. Some of these movies are based mostly on CGI, and I don't understand why can we just cut back the CGI a little bit. Like, I understand a couple things here and there, but like a good 75% of the movie is CGI, bro. Like
Grooming,
go
what's
ahead,
CTI?
CGI.
What is CGI?
It's like graphics. You know what I'm saying? When you see somebody flying in the air, he's not going green screen anymore. They got rid of that. It's actually showing it more realistic. It's literally a computer programming everything in. Let me see what I can find the term what CGI stands for because I'm not sure. Computer graphic image it stands for.
Okay.
Like okay, you seen the Avengers movies, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's say I'm a mirror character. Any of those characters you see, all right? Thanos, for example, right? That they took the real person's face, they you CGI'd around it to make it what it was. Does that
Mm-hmm.
make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But before you had a great makeup artist and all this stuff. It's just I feel now it's cheap doing it. CGI has really taken over Hollywood like crazy. Movies look great. Don't get me wrong. I think they're wonderful, but I think they would put some movies go way overboard with the CGI.
You know, the censorship has gotten a little bit more gruesome,
Oh God, yeah.
you know, which plays into the culture, the American culture, because they can control how these movies are filmed and, relayed to the public, but they're just trying to let you know. I look at certain movies as a message to the future,
Yeah, I
you
agree with
know,
that.
and when I see those movies, I start to move accordingly to make the adjustments. I try to stay ahead of it. I've been like that most of my life.
Now let me ask
So
you a question: do you feel acting is not the same like it used to be? It kind of is it watered down
I
a little
didn't hear
bit,
you.
or
Hold up, Gorman, repeat the question again. You were a
do
little
you
low.
feel I'm low?
Yeah, you're a little low.
Hang on, let me fix that right now. How's that? Does that sound better?
That's better. That's perfect.
Okay, so do you feel acting now these days is kind of watered down? Is not as pure like they used to be back in the day? They were actually putting their hearts into it.
Um, the old actors are sort of fading out, and the new stream of actors, I don't know if they are looking at it with the passion. It's like everybody, I don't know. Or I haven't seen a really good movie. Then I was like, yeah, man, that's a two thumbs up. But I guess it's just a great time, just a different time. I
Mm-hmm.
think what happened in Hollywood over the last couple of years since COVID, you're going to see a more diverse um, TV, a more diverse movie, a more diverse just script writing, more inclusive, and a lot of the inclusion will be for the worse. and the demonic situations in human life, which is really going to be sad. So, but how much are the people going to accept? Will they just continue to accept it, or will
So
just
I'm going to use a couple movies as scenarios here. For example, Titanic. Titanic, they literally had to act like they're drowning. I believe, if I remember correctly, one of the main characters almost drowned shooting a whole scene in there. So that was, to me, it's like, okay, Jaws. That is an even better example because Jaws, they had used no CGI because CGI wasn't even around back then. They actually used a big ass fucking shark that gave them so many fucking problems. That goddamn shark, and it broke down all the time. They didn't know if they were able to finish the movie half the time. That's how bad it was.
man? I love Jaws, man.
Oh, I think it's a
When
great movie, bro.
Jaws
It's
came
one.
out, man,
That's
shit,
another classic again, right?
yeah,
Star Wars. Yeah, I use Star Wars a better example. Star Wars had no CGI. Now, if you go back to watch some of the newer ones now, it has a lot of CGI in it. Believe it or not. Have you watched any of the newer Star Wars movies?
man. I be trying to watch it, man, but they just seem like they move too slow.
How's the movie too slow? What do you mean?
I mean, I like when I see movies of in the galaxy, and like movies in the you know yeah, stuff like that. I like to see action, man. I like to see somebody doing something, a high speed space chase, and I guess when they, because in the Star Wars movies, the thing that I do it like about it, have they been able to separate all the characters and highlight movies on characters and sort of their little components of life and ups and downs. But to me, that I lose track of that fast. I'm like, oh man, but I'll pay attention to when they fighting and talking about, just the world, stuff like that. But and since I've got
Um,
grown now,
See, I'm going to disagree with you because I don't think Star Wars is a slow show at all. I mean, or movie. It's actually really fast. It depends which one you're looking at, but 99% of them are actually pretty fast. So I'm not sure. Maybe you're watching Star Trek. You're thinking of.
no man, Star Trek was when I was a kid.
So it sounds like it still has a good following. It still has shows coming out, dude. There's
Yeah,
no reason why.
I like Star Trek, man. I've been through the shit, the 2000s. I watched the Star Trek, the movies, and and stuff like that. I love the show, but
The show was beyond great. I think you know what I'm saying. So I want to say change speech here. I want to show you guys something that I think is pretty funny. I want you guys' opinion on it in a minute. 1 minute. I'm gonna show a video really fast. All right, here we go. Let's get this up here, and boom. Blow this up. Nope, hit the wrong thing. Just watch this for 1 minute. Now watch the car. Let me fix that really fast. Yeah, imagine if your car, dude, and that shit happened. Dude, how pissed will you be that was your car?
well, Grumman, I saw this. I think I watched it earlier today, man. I think I did. I saw this video, right? And first of all, first thing I thought about was the car. Like, well, I thought about, man, somebody could have got killed. Or, you know what I'm saying? Somebody could have got really hurt. But then I went straight to the car, like, man, that's why I don't like fireworks today, man. Because if that's
I don't
been my
mind.
car, man,
Listen. I don't mind fireworks. I think the laws in our country is stupid with fireworks. So you say if I live in Pennsylvania and I drive over New Jersey or Maryland or any other states around me and I buy fireworks from that state with a different ID, it would prevent doing what?
Yeah,
Like people
yeah,
come from New York or
yeah.
New Jersey in Pennsylvania. My dad always had a New York license because he drove a New York cab, but he lived in PA. So I used to look at my dad like, "Hey, Dad," he goes, "What do you want?" He goes, "You know what I want?" He goes, "Summertime, like you want fireworks, don't you?" Like, "Yep." Spent about $500-600 in fireworks. He had his license. They didn't question anything because he had a different license. And I used to light up the sky with that shit. I mean, light it up. That's how much. And you telling me somebody that lives in my state or your state or whatever state you're in cannot find somebody with an outside ID and get fireworks? That makes no sense.
But grooming, again, I look at it again from a safety point of view. Fireworks are basically small hand grenades, small ammunition, bombs. That's all they are. And it's almost a way to track it in a sense. That's all to keep sort of because I could go somewhere and get some, some fireworks. Just like in this situation, it went from fireworks to a deadly weapon.
Yeah.
The car is secondary to the human life. This thing, if it would have exploded onto one of those babies, or a kid would have ran across that right when they started to blow up really bad. Now the
Totally,
kid got
totally agree
shrapnel.
with you, man. I
And,
totally agree with you.
and here's the thing about explosions. Grooming, it's not the explosion that takes you out. It's the shrapnel that comes from the explosion.
Mm-hmm.
The objects that explode now become bullet objects. So that's where the injury comes from. Say if you had a glass of water on the table and something exploded next to it, that force would shatter that glass, and that glass would come at you at 200 miles an hour, hitting you from your ankles up to the top of your head. And you get a 3-inch piece of glass coming at 200 miles an hour, and it
Oh,
hits
it's
you on
slicing
the
you up pretty good.
no, if it hits you on the side of your skull, it could go a half inch into your skull.
Like a bullet, pretty much,
So
almost.
yeah, that's all it is. That's what kills you. That's what the issue is. It's not the explosion. Your body can absorb that, but if you have a tree that explodes, the wood, if you have shit, yeah, man, that's why, man. That shit dangerous as hell. I stopped lighting fireworks, man, when I was about 14, 13, 14. My brother had a Roman candle sort of backfire on his chest, and he got burned up on his chest a little bit, just a little bit, not a whole lot, but it was enough to where he had to go to the emergency room. And ever since then, I enjoy fireworks. I go to a big fireworks show here you know, uh, so I go to big fireworks shows in Chicago. I go all over when they have a fireworks show.
Mm-hmm.
I like watching the fireworks in my neighborhood. I don't light fireworks. I don't buy fireworks, but shoot, I like to see the fireworks, man. It's a beautiful fireworks show.
So here's my thing with like fireworks. Okay, I enjoy them. I have fun with them like everybody else does. You know what I'm saying? I like watching them, all that stuff. Now, Roman candles, I think they're way too dangerous. Like you said, I was gonna mention that too because those can go wrong fast. I've seen videos people having Roman candle fights. Light up having wars. I'm like, this is seriously like that can go fucking wrong in so many ways so fast. Like,
Yes.
I can see somebody getting shot in the ass for that.
Yeah.
Like, here, dude, pop, pop, pop,
Gro-
pop, 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 your
No,
ass.
no, no, Groman. That ain't the worst part about being shot with the Roman candle. think about it. If somebody got it at your eye and that fucking burning ball of fire smacks you dead in the middle of your fucking eye, you blinded for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Your
Like, I don't
ass a
mind though.
heel.
Motor.
Shit.
I don't mind getting the big mortars that you light and you run away and they go straight up. Those I'm okay with. But when it comes to that, you're holding something like this, like with a fire in the end, and like, here, look at me, woohoo! I guess like, and some dumbass, some dumbass out there, he's gonna light it backwards and have it towards him, and then he's get hit with what? There are 8 shots in that. I'm mistaken. I haven't shot one of those in years.
Yeah, it's about 8. It used to be 10, but of course they scaled it down.
Okay, let's say 8 for argument's sake for the conversation right now.
Yeah.
Imagine you have some dumbass lights it backwards, and it shoots you that way.
Well, it has a stem on it, so I think if it comes through the stem, uh, yeah, it's just I don't know, man. Listen. I don't want to hold the fireworks. I'll let you do all the lighting, groom. You can have the long grill lighter and torch. There was some guys behind me had a torch, and they was torching it. It was going up, lighting up the sky. Man, I just sat back and watched it. Then all the debris started flowing over my shit, and I was pissed off then. Like the smoke, because once they explode, then those little particles come down like rain.
Okay.
Yeah, that paper be everywhere.
So yeah, you gotta clean up the next day.
Well, shit, they should come clean it up. They the one fired that shit. I ain't shoot no fireworks over their house.
I remember the biggest thing was bottle rockets as a kid at fireworks.
Yeah,
the bottle rockets.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, when I was a teenager, we got so good, we light them and we'll just time when the stem's about to burn and just
Mm-hmm.
throw them up into the sky, man. Then they'll take off a little higher. We used to throw them at some point. We hold them in our hand, and then when that stem go, and you count about 3 seconds, 3 or 4 seconds, and
There you go.
throw it.
You throw it straight up.
And by the time it come down, it'll just go whichever direction it was in.
In my fucking luck, I throw it in and you go, hey, I'm going, come straight at me. Duck, 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 duck.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
The
I
worst
mean,
thing I ever done is 2 things. One firework, when I threw it, it bounced and it almost hit somebody by accident. It was a complete accident too. The
hmm
second one was I didn't, I held it a little bit too long. My mother was like, "Whoa, shit! Throw that shit, you dumbass!" And like,
hmm
but that was when I was young. But I haven't really fired fireworks in years, to be honest. Um, they're expensive. That's my thing. They're very
Yeah,
expensive. If you think
you
about it.
damn right.
For what? For 10 minutes, 20 minutes tops. So when I
Yeah.
do get fireworks, I get the motor ones, the big Kahuna ones. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you put them down. I think no fireworks are safe, but I feel more comfortable with those than a fucking here. Let me fire a fucking killing a rocket and let's have war. Kung 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 kung.
Nah,
Yeah.
man. Nah, man. And they had bottle rockets yesterday. I mean, the other day. The kids had the bottle rockets and stuff. Well, the father, I think an adult had the bottle rocket, but the kids had sparklers. We used to
Sparklers
have
are
all
nice.
that shit, man. I'm just saying though, the snakes. You like the little black little snake, and they come out on the ground with a funky smell. Smoke bombs. I used to love lighting the smoke bombs.
Now, this stuff you're talking about, you can buy anywhere. They're the little kid
Yeah,
things. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
that's it. That's my league right there. The
Mm-hmm.
shit you lay on the stuff you light now that shoot up in the sky. You can light all that. I ain't lighting none of that. I'm gonna step back over here in my chair and sit back and watch the whole sky light up. Be like, look at grooving over and lighting up the sky. I'll be
I
like,
got. Here's a good joke for anybody out there. You want to punk somebody? I'll give you the best anime. Do you remember the poppers that you used to throw and pop as a kid on the ground? Do you remember those?
yes, sir.
So these are what you need. You need to get about 1 or 2 boxes. You probably have to buy them in cases, but get double-sided tape. You lift the toilet seat up. You put a tape on it. You stick all over the seat. You
Oh my
gently
God.
put it down. So when they go sit on it,
Gr-
say they need to take a shit, for example, say and literally they're gonna shit themselves so fucking hard. It's not even funny.
Grooming, man. Let me tell you something.
I'm evil. I know.
Not only are you evil, well, listen, I'm not gonna say that, but I tell you what, you're trying to get your ass whipped. That's what the hell you're trying to do.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. You
You
gotta
try,
catch me first.
grooming. Listen, tell you something, man. Listen, man. Don't do that shit to your kids, man. Don't do it to nobody. Just tell it like you told me. That's what you can
Oh, I
do.
have done.
Let's.
I've done it, to people.
I know.
I
That's what I'm saying. Don't do that shit.
yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, man. Grooming, man. Listen, it's some things, man. Yeah, man, we can't do that, man. You do that shit and you try that shit with somebody that look like me, man. I'm telling you, grooming, man. You're gonna be like, man, you heard about grooming? Yeah, man, he sure was a good guy, man. I sure am gonna miss
Fuck
him.
you. You're a
I'm saying,
softie in the day. You're a softie.
no,
I don't want to
man.
hear that shit.
I'm
You
trying to
fucking
tell you,
baby.
man. Man, say I
You be
sure
coming
gonna miss
out. You
grooming,
be
man.
coming out of the bathroom laughing after you shit yourself. Literally, you're gonna be
No,
fucking
man.
asshole.
No, grooming, man. They gonna be coming out there looking for you, shitty draws and everything, man. They gonna be like,
Bullshit.
they gonna find you.
I know you well enough. If I ever did that to you, in real life,
Oh my
you'd be
God, man.
laughing.
Grooming, man. No. Now, the two things that I used to say this, especially when I used to be around guys all the time.
Hmm.
The two places don't fuck with me when I'm sleeping and taking a shit. You fuck with me that time, we got war on our hands. Every time you go take a shit, I'll probably throw a bucket of hot water on your ass. I'll probably throw a bucket of ice water on your. You would never be able to do shit around me ever. I'm gonna do it to you 10 times after you do your one.
See, you know what? Everybody who says he'll get me back has never got the one of my pranks was at one of my jobs. Like so let's say we put a duck in his locker. I'm just saying. I'm not gonna say the names. The person because he's one of my prescribers. But let's say somehow, some way we snuck a duck in the hospital and put it in his locker. So when he opened it, this bag, that duck comes running out. He's looking at it like, what the fuck? It's running down the ER, and everybody looking at a duck coming down the ER, like, what the fuck? The president of the hospital, she looked at me and goes, how did that duck get in my hospital? Like, I have no fucking. So they're like, you don't have no fucking idea my ass. She goes, your name's written all over this shit. So I go, I didn't do anything. You see a duck going, running down the hall, and everybody's running and grabs that damn thing. I think it's fucking fast. Yeah, that's right, guys. I actually put a duck in somebody's locker. That is literally like, I am believe it or not, I am a prankster. Here's the one thing I have, people get a lot of adults are getting into. I don't know if anybody knows this, and let me hear in the chat if you guys know this. Nerf guns. A lot of guys in my, older, even your age, Trey, they're actually having full Nerf wars in their backyard.
Yeah, I understand that. You know what I'm saying? That a nerf is a nerf. You can handle a nerf.
Yeah.
You can't have no fucking bottle rocket grooming. You can't have no fucking pops on no toilet, man. I'm already having problems holding this shit till I sit down, and you come fucking it up, having me fucking get shit everywhere all over my shorts and pants and shit. I'm gonna find your ass, and it's gonna be war. You might have to eat that shit off of me. Shit.
No, dude. Seriously, some of the Nerf guns now, they have a Tommy gun, a minigun. You look at this Barry Robert, it has over 1,000 rounds under a minute. And it has like it has like 3-4 boxes, like another 1,000. Dude, imagine you're trying to fight yourself against that damn thing. It's no way. And it's like $100 something. I think you hear. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, whoever has that during a Nerf war, you're a winner.
I don't know, grooming, man. Don't do that shit, man, at 37 years old, man.
Well, I'm
Don't do
38
it.
and 37.
What, 38, 37, 39, 40,
What,
41,
the toilet seat
42.
prank? You're talking about the toilet seat
None
prank?
none of those pranks, Roman. None of them. Just write. Look, just write them down and pass them off to somebody young. Be like, here, man, you want to prank somebody? Just give them a whole manual of pranks. Don't you be doing that shit, Roman? Don't do it.
It takes all the fun out of it now.
I know, man. You know these people. That's why I say don't do it, man, because everybody's too sensitive, man. They're not gonna take it as a prank.
But
I'm just
I only
saying,
do
man.
it with people that I know, good friends of mine. I'm not gonna do it with anybody that I don't know. Like honestly, Trey, if I ever pranked you, I know my pranks to you will be something I know you can handle. Like you're gonna look at me like you fucking asshole, and that's
Yeah,
it.
but grooming. Okay, based off of oh, the question I want to ask you is,
What's
when
up?
was the last time you pranked somebody?
This morning.
Oh my God, he said this morning that I ain't even got no more questions, man. You doing it this morning, man. That's it. Hey,
So I can't say too
wow.
much details right now because of
Hey,
copy law, HIPAA laws and stuff like that. So I told so what I can say is not it's in
don't even
private or
say
anything like
that.
that. No, I can't say this much. It was like they tell me, hey, the phone call rings. I answer the phone. Like, can we get so and so down here? I'm like, yeah, no problem. Click. I go, okay, prank time. I go, hey, you need to go to the opposite place. That's where I told him to go to the president's office. What the fuck, man? I'm getting fired. And he's freaking out, kicking and screaming like, hey, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm fucking with you, dude. And he goes, you motherfucker. I'm like, it's because every time it's a funny part about that is I have done that same prank for a month and a half for on everybody, and I get every single person every time, every single time. It never fails. At clockworks. I tell him, hey, you need to go X, Y, and Z, and he's not. Nope. Yeah, I tell him somewhere else, and like that. He just. Some of my jokes are kind of evil sometimes. I know that. The best
Hey,
one,
grooming.
here's one of my favorite ones. So my chef, so me and my chef are going back and forth. We're joking around. I go, I found this blow up doll on Amazon. It's not like inappropriate. It was just like a doll you can use for, put clothes on for a store kind of thing, right? I go, hmm. So I blew her up. I put his chef coat on it. I put pants on it. I put a hat on it. So he walks in. He starts talking to it it's his assistant. Hey, he goes, hey, X Y. I can't remember the guy's name. And I don't want to start an air. And he goes, he's not talking. Like, what the fuck? Looks over like, all right, who the fuck? And like, he's like, he didn't see me. So if you saw me, my name is written all over. So his boss shows up and walks in. He goes, comes back out. He goes, so it's a Matt. He goes, so is something you want to tell me here? He goes, no, why? Do you want to explain to me what is going on in your office? Like he turned red. I'm like, I can't explain. I can't explain. He goes like, sure you do. I bet you can do. You don't need to explain. He goes, what do you do in your office behind closed doors? That's your private business. He goes. He comes around the corner and like shaking his head, like he looks at me like, your name's all over this, isn't it? I'm like, yep, it is. He goes. He comes over. He gives me a fist pound. He goes, that is the best one you had so far.
Grooming, man, just be careful, man. You know these people out here is man, they ain't as strong as they used to be, man. They panic and you know what I'm saying? So just be careful, man. When they say your jokes too your jokes too far. Yeah, like you go too far, damn it. That's what they saying. Yeah. You right, Cash. What is that? Cash rain mindset. You right. He goes too damn far. You right.
Here's my thing in my defense. All right,
He go
I
that. He trying to defend
hang on, hang on.
this
In my defense, I would never
one.
get anybody hurt. I will not get anybody in trouble or nothing like that. All those jokes are innocent jokes. So, but
No.
we're coming towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
Whoever has not yet liked, share, and subscribe, please do. So, except that, let's have Trey says his final thoughts before we get out of here.
I mean, just based on the, the topic of the show with the, two TV series, man, comedy series, sitcom series, you know, I love both of them. Fresh Prince, I can relate to him because I was a young guy, saying young adult, finding my way, especially when it came out. I think when it came out, 92, uh,
Something
I
like that.
believe
Yeah.
90,
Yeah, I
99.
looked it up, but I got rid of it now.
Yeah, I was in the service, man. I was out here being a man, trying to save the world, and just being understanding of that whole process. And it showed the versatility that I could have, being a cool guy, having a sense of humor. I think guys miss that today, having a sense of humor, being able to laugh at yourself. Somebody else can point out something that could be funny on me, and being able to laugh at that, not take it offensive. I think that that's missed, and that's what the show was able to bring out because Carlton was different, but Carlton stayed true to who he was, and he had a great, successful outcome. And with Steve Urkel, sometimes the good guys finish last, sometimes they finish first. Just as you go through the process, it'll allow you to finish first sometime. Also, we all just have to remember when we're young, like a lot of us got a lot of Steve Urkel in them. But one thing that I liked about the show that a lot of people don't do, especially men, he stayed true to who he was. He
Hmm.
never changed. He stayed true. So eventually they had to phase his character out and make him the man with the plan. So just stay true to who you are, man. Whether it's a so-called quirky guy, different guy, nerdy guy, just stay true. And when you're ready in life, you'll see the switch. Focus on self, focus on building your life and your legacy. And if you find a woman, if she treats you like Laura did Steve at the beginning, you dismiss her. But if she treats you like Stefan, then she may be one that you can put in your life and make her your wife. Other than that, shit, protect yourself, man. That's all. Appreciate you grooming, man.
Brother, you know you're welcome here anytime.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
I remember you should come here all the time. What the hell is going on with you? Like you and
Man,
MIA for a while.
I mean, sometimes, man, the topics, man, I just move around, man. I like it all, man. I ain't doing nothing, man. I'm always come back to my family, man. Shit, I ain't,
Yeah.
some topics, man, I can't really dive into like you and Brother Bennett have with, certain like wrestling and certain, things
So
like that.
Thursday
I don't really
topics are
have a
more.
comment.
Yeah. So Thursdays are more for you. That's the most the serious topics. Today was more like the fun stuff. You know what I'm saying? Saturdays. That's why we tell you to close the hangout versus the Spartan Arena on Thursdays. So I've been sending you the links. I know you've been checking
Yeah.
your emails.
Yeah, man. I get them sometime late and shit, man. Yeah, send them to me. I'll
Yeah.
come. I'll
Yeah.
be all
Okay.
over,
Cool.
man.
And remember, I always drop the link in the middle. So really fast, guys. So Trey, my brother, he's pretty right. You know, stay in your lane. That's the best way to do it sometimes. That's one thing that both characters had. They stayed in the lane and they focused what they want. They went to school. They got the women. They got that. We need more shows like that nowadays. I think that's what we're missing. It's sad how shows now went from teaching you something to eh, like SpongeBob. Like that is the stupidest show ever. And like even comedies nowadays, they're not that funny anymore. If you really watch them, you see the punchline come from a mile away. What happened to creativity? Change things up. So, except that, guys. Update on schedule. Tomorrow night we are talking about barbershop, Greece versus American barbershop. This will be an interesting one tomorrow night. I don't have a title for Thursday. I should have it by tomorrow night. Monday the latest up. So keep your eyes open. But for next Saturday, we are talking about. I'll tell you right now. Hang on. Let me get my thing up here really fast. It's going to be Chaka versus Chi, the exploring the mystery of energy. Something people know me. I'm a martial artist. Something I do enjoy. I like doing at least one martial arts show a month. So, except that, guys. Trey, anything else you want to say before we go? Bye bye.
Nah, man, just appreciate the show, man. Shoot, great topics, man, for real.
Yeah. So I'll give you an update of what topic we're gonna do. And any chance you have a topic on your head? Maybe you want to do this Thursday? Maybe I'll give you colorful ones.
You say Thursday?
Yeah.
Any topics? Let me see, man. Oh man, shoot.
Spit one off your head right
I
now. Let me see.
ooh man. Let me see. I mean, yeah, my topic's more. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just some social issues I've been concerned about. You know, two young boys
I got a good
deleted
one. How about we talk
Chicago
about the
police
evolution
officer.
of the man?
Oh man, that's vague as hell, man. I mean, oh man, I mean, that's a good topic, but then that's yeah, I don't think they're ready for my view because I don't think the man has evolved to a stronger hold.
Oh,
It's
whoa, whoa,
sort of
whoa. Hold
yeah,
it to Thursday. We're going to talk about. Okay, that
okay,
will be the topic for this Thursday. The evolution
yeah,
of the man. All right. Because I really want you on this. I'm serious, Trey. I want your opinion on it. Seriously.
all
Don't bail
right.
on me.
No,
Listening.
just let me know, man. Yeah,
Thursday,
the evolution
9:30.
of a man.
All right.
Shit.
So the updated schedule is tomorrow's barbershop. Thursday, the evolution of man, and next Saturday at the hangout, we will be speaking about the Chi versus Chakra. Except that, guys. Trey, say goodnight.
Peace and love, everybody. Stay
All right.
safe. Stay
As
cool.
always, I am Grooming Reviews, aka Ghost of Sparta, aka Panayotis, and also don't forget like, share, and subscribe. Except that, stay fresh, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.